Market fit isn't a buzzword reserved for Silicon Valley startups. If you run a plumbing shop or a landscaping crew and revenue has stalled despite your best efforts, you have a market fit problem. It's often the invisible ceiling that stops a service business from scaling. You might be working 15-hour days, but if the work you're doing isn't what the market is hungry for at a price that actually leaves you with a profit, you're just spinning your wheels. We're breaking down a practical playbook today specifically for hands-on business owners to stop the guessing game and start testing what actually works.
It's a critical distinction to make because most service owners think they have a marketing problem. They assume if they just bought more leads or ran more Facebook ads, things would click. But if the core offer doesn't resonate or the audience is too broad, marketing just accelerates the rate at which you lose money. According to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, only about a third of businesses started in 2013 were still operating a decade later. A huge factor in that survival rate is whether the business actually found a niche where the dogs are eating the dog food, as venture capitalist Andy Rachleff famously put it. In the world of trades, that means finding the specific job that people are desperate to pay for.
The playbook starts with getting brutally specific about who you serve. Most local businesses make the mistake of trying to be everything to everyone in a 20-mile radius. If you're a roofing company, you probably think your market is anyone with a roof, but that's a recipe for low margins and constant price haggling.
Exactly. Compare a general roofer to one that specializes specifically in insurance claim storm damage repair. The specialist isn't just selling a roof, they're selling an expertise in navigating the complex bureaucracy of insurance companies. That roofer is playing a completely different, much more profitable game. To find your version of that, you have to look at your data. Pull your last 30 customers and ignore the revenue for a second. Look at who paid without a fight, who referred their friends, and who was actually pleasant to work with. That pattern is where your real market lives. You're looking for the path of least resistance.
I like that approach because it's based on evidence, not just a gut feeling. But what about the actual service? Step 2 in the playbook is writing down your current offer honestly, not the polished version on your website, but what actually happens when the truck pulls into the driveway. This seems like a moment for a real reality check.
It has to be. You need to list every single service line and look at the last 90 days. How many did you actually sell? What was the real profit margin after labor, materials, and fuel? And importantly, how many customers asked for it unprompted? If you're having to sell people on a specific service every single time, that's a signal. High-fit services are pulled by the market, not pushed by the owner. If a service has low volume, thin margins, and requires a hard sell, it's a candidate for the chopping block.
That leads perfectly into step 3, running small, cheap tests. Business owners often think testing means a total rebrand or a massive equipment investment. But the playbook suggests things that only require a notebook and some focus. If we take a landscaping company as an example, how would they test a new fit without breaking the bank?
They could take their top-performing service, maybe it's high-end hardscaping, and offer it to a completely different customer segment for 30 days. Maybe they target commercial property managers instead of residential homeowners. Or they could change the pricing structure for new customers only, perhaps moving from a per-job fee to a recurring maintenance model. Another powerful test is just asking. Reach out to the last 10 people who got a quote but didn't hire you. Ask them exactly why they said no. Was it the price, the timing, the scope? Those conversations provide more market data than any expensive software ever could.
Once you've run those tests, you have to score the results. The playbook suggests 3 honest questions. Are the right people coming to you without much convincing? Are they paying your price without a fight? And are they coming back or referring others? If you're answering no to 2 or more, you have a fit problem. It's not that people don't want plumbing or landscaping. It's that your specific version of it isn't hitting the mark for the people you're reaching.
And the natural instinct for an owner when they see those no's is to add more. More services, more territory, more "we also do this." But the final step of the playbook is to revise, not reinvent. Finding fit usually means narrowing your focus. A study by McKinsey & Company found that companies focusing on specialized services are 50% more likely to have higher profit margins than generalists. Specialization allows for better processes, which means you get faster and more efficient. For a service business, efficiency is the only way to protect your time.
It's also about building what marketers call a moat. If you're the drain cleaning specialist for historic homes, a general plumber can't easily compete with you on expertise or efficiency in that specific niche. You're no longer a commodity being compared solely on price.
That's the ultimate goal. You want to reach a point where your customer lifetime value, the total revenue a customer brings in over their entire relationship with you, far outweighs your customer acquisition cost. In many industries, a 3-to-1 ratio is considered the gold standard. If it's costing you $100 in ads to get a customer who only spends $80 on a one-off gutter cleaning, you're going backwards. But if that same $100 gets you a customer who signs a 3-year maintenance contract, you've found fit. You've aligned what you do with what they actually value.
So if I'm a shop owner listening to this and I feel like I'm drowning in work, but the bank account isn't growing, where do I start tomorrow morning? What's the first move?
Start with your own data. Don't look at a single new lead. Look at your last 20 jobs. Highlight the 3 customers you wish you could clone. Who were they? What did you do for them? Why was it profitable? Once you see that pattern, have the discipline to say no to the stuff that falls outside of it. It's scary to turn down work when you're struggling, but taking bad fit work is exactly what keeps you struggling. It drains the resources you need to find the good fit work.
It really comes down to that word discipline. It's the discipline to narrow the focus, even when the instinct is to broaden it. We've seen this play out across so many industries. Even giant tech companies like Netflix or Zoom didn't start by doing everything. Netflix obsessed over the convenience of DVDs by mail before they ever touched streaming. Zoom focused on making video calls work every single time without friction. For a hands-on service business, it's the same principle. Be the absolute best at the one thing that matters most to your best customers.
And remember that market fit isn't a one-and-done milestone. It's a moving target. Markets change, interest rates rise, new technologies like smart home systems or eco-friendly landscaping become popular. Grandview Research projects the landscaping market will grow significantly by 2030, but a lot of that growth is in sustainable, climate-resilient designs. If you're not testing and revising your fit every 60 to 90 days, you might wake up and realize the market has moved on without you.
The common thread here is moving from a reactive state to a proactive one. Instead of waiting for the phone to ring and hoping the caller is a good customer, you're defining who that customer is and building a service specifically for them. It's about being an architect of your business rather than just an employee of it. It requires looking at the profit and loss statement as a feedback loop, not just a tax document.
It also changes the way you view failure. If you try a new pricing model and people balk at it, that's not a defeat. It's a data point. It tells you that either your price is too high for the value provided, or you're talking to the wrong people. That information is incredibly valuable. As Seth Godin says, the cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. The only way to find fit is to be willing to be wrong in small, controlled ways.
This whole approach takes the mystery out of business growth. It replaces the anxiety of, will I have enough work next month, with a systematic way to ensure the work you do have is actually moving you forward. It's about building a business that works for you, rather than you working for a business that's fundamentally misaligned with its market.
Exactly. You're building an asset, not just a job. And the foundation of that asset is a clear, validated market fit. Once you have that, everything else, marketing, hiring, scaling, becomes significantly easier because you're finally swimming with the current instead of against it.
The reality for most service businesses is that the path to doubling your profit isn't doing twice as much work. It's doing the right work for the right people at the right price. The 5-step playbook gives you the framework to identify exactly what that looks like for your specific shop. If you found these insights helpful for your business, pass this episode along to another owner who might be spinning their wheels.